What's good, YouTube? You're back on S Motorsports. Today we're going to be making the Camaro sound a little bit better. So like I said, guys, thanks for joining back into the channel. If you haven't done so yet, we are almost to 1,000 subscribers, so you know what to do. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the post notifications so you don't miss anything. I would greatly appreciate it as, like I said, we're almost to that 1,000 subscribers. So today, like I said, we're gonna be trying to make the Camaro sound just a little bit better, and we're gonna do that with hopefully a little bit more bass control. So if you haven't seen so yet, I was going to install this Kicker Keyloc, basically line output converter, into my 2018 Silverado. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll put it up in this corner, the link to that. But I ended up not using it because I ended up using just more of a basic line output converter with the Bose system. That seemed to work good. So, and my plan was to hopefully reuse this in the Camaro as to get a little bit more control, as this has an input control as well as an output control for the amount of volts you're getting out for the amp. And I wanted that in the Camaro because with my current setup, I do get a little bit of a popping or a little bit of some unwanted noise sub movement when I fire up the system. And that's probably more than likely because I got my gain settings probably too high. And I'm hoping maybe with some smarts in this box that I can eliminate that and also hopefully make it sound a little bit cleaner and better, just because this is a pretty trick little setup. Now this Kicker Keyloc does quite a bit, and I'm not gonna go through the whole slew of everything that it does, but basically it's cleaning up your sound. It's setting like a noise floor, so I don't think you get unwanted noise that's lower than that. Like I said, you get the inputs adjusted correctly so you don't get distortion going to your amp from the signal. It's got LED lights showing what frequencies are active in your signal. It just, it has some smarts to basically clean up the EQ to make it flat in case you're getting some wonky factory curves, which I'm not sure. We'll see what the Camaro sounds like, but I know in the Bose system, I think it was doing a lot of that in the truck. First, let's get the Camaro's battery disconnected, as that is a good thing to do when you're working on sound systems, and then we'll get the line converter out of there, the old one, and then we can start installing the new one, which we are gonna have a couple more connections. The old one that I was using literally just had the 2 speaker wires. This one we're gonna have to hook up a positive and ground, and then we're gonna obviously reuse the amp turn on as well. So let's get to it. All right, let's get that battery disconnected. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult to access the line converter, which is right back here, because we got the sub box in there, but I think we'll be able to work around it just so we don't have to remove it, as that would be more work than necessary. So let's get this disconnected. Okay, I got the old line output converter yanked out of the car. If you want to see how I originally put that in, check out this video. That's the first install of the sub and everything, and that kind of shows how I wired this up and got that installed. But now that I got that out, so basically the wiring diagram, I'll hopefully pop that up on the screen somewhere as well in terms of the wire diagram for this Kicker Keyloc. I already had it plumbed in basically for the speaker connections, so I just got to put some terminals on the car side for that. Basically this red wire we're not going to use because that is a remote in for coming from the source unit, which I'm not going to use. So basically the Kicker Keyloc will automatically put out a turn on lead for you. All you got to do is hook up the power, which is this yellow wire, and then the ground, which is this black wire. So the only addition that you need to add is it needs a fuse in line for the kicker key lock. So we're gonna add this in on the yellow wire and tie this to positive. I might tie this either to the amplifier or like the capacitor, because that's an easy spot, or the battery. And I already had a battery connection for the ground for this old line output converter, so that should be pretty easy just to reconnect. So let's get to hooking this up, connector on here as well for the ground, and we'll get to installing it already. The nice part about the kicker key lock is you can disconnect the wiring harness here, which is gonna make installing it a little bit easier because you don't have this flopping around. You can mount this first and then plug it in after the fact. So now all we have to do is work with this instead of this hanging off. So that's nice. All right guys, got everything hooked up. So I didn't bore you with putting connectors on, but basically I tied in the power wire to the stud underneath here, under the battery, positive battery cable. And then right now I just got this floating. I'll tape it down, but I got it plugged in. I got the wires connected up. I'll tie up all this mess going on here, so it doesn't wiggle around. Basically, maybe tie up this wire too. But I wanted to give it a shot first and try it, as there is kind of a programming sequence you got to do with this. So I'm gonna start that process. I'm not gonna bore you with that. There's other videos showing how to program this, but I'm gonna do that off camera and see how it turns out. All right, we got everything installed up. So I got the key lock all programmed, which I think it turned out pretty good. I just kind of tied this stuff up to the negative battery cable so it doesn't flop around. Now I'm gonna put this all back and we can hear what it sounds like. I think I got it set pretty good. I'll have to try here to see if I get any popping noises now when I kind of power up the car. But otherwise, I mean, it sounds pretty clean. It sounds pretty clear. There's a lot of adjustability with the key lock, with the output that you can adjust. So I got my amp gain setting pretty low, which should help the noise as well. So let's get everything tidied back up. Okay, normally when I got the a pop from the sub is like when I was opening the trunk, I could actually see the subs moving, which obviously is not good for them. So let's try and test this out quick. If I can pop the hood and then open up the trunk, see if we can see anything. Everything was very quiet. I did not hear anything, so that hopefully took care of it. Let's go in the cab, open the door as well. Nothing. So sometimes I would hear kind of a poof noise or a pop noise when I open the door. It was relatively faint, but you could notice it sometimes. So supposedly this is copyright free music here on YouTube. See, I got it set pretty decent. I mean, it sounds pretty good. copyright. I mean, it sounds good, sub sounds good, and if it took care of the pops, I'm happy with it. I think it's kind of worth it with all the adjustability that there is with it. That definitely helps. So overall, I think I'm happy. I'm glad I saved that kicker Keyloc for the Camaro, as I think it's a good addition to the sound system, make it sound a little bit better. Like I said, I think it's a worthwhile pickup, especially if you don't have a line output converter yet. You know, I would definitely recommend the Keyloc. It seems like a pretty quality product. Obviously, links are in the description if you want to pick one up yourself. So until next time, guys, thanks for joining in, and make sure to hit that subscribe button if you stayed this long, because why not? And help me get to 1,000 subscribers. So I'm pretty excited about it. And we'll catch you in the next one, guys. Later.